Hard for
य एषः सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एषः सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रदब्रह्मा तदब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनाद्यति कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
welcome, Ratna ma'am. I would like to welcome you on behalf of ICI Ahmedabad for giving us this wonderful session. Reading skills, like as we know, is the need of the hour in today's changing world. We cannot follow whatever is happening until and unless we know the right techniques to read. Reading, ऐसे बोलना चाहे तो we've been reading since we are kid, but even today there is a way with which you should read, you know, which will make you really understand the concepts well for which you are here. And now I would like to formally give you your introduction. So Ratna ma'am is into teaching industry. Her basic subjects are marketing management, HR management, and communication skills. She's been a visiting faculty at Bhavan's College, Ahmedabad, with international marketing being her subject. She is also a lecturer at LJ Polytechnic, Ahmedabad, teaching general English. She's also been a faculty at Karnavati Education Institute of IT and Management, Ahmedabad, with basics of management as her subject. She has been an assistant manager at HDFC Bank, Bhavnagar, and an executive for ancillaries at High Tech Investment Castings Limited, Bhavnagar. It's an honor to have you with us, ma'am. And I think we can start with the seminar.
Thank you, Ziana. Thank you so much. And as you said that today we will be learning a lot about the reading skills. Reading is just not the reading. It has many things into it. So let's see what is into it. Have you given me, I want to share the slide.
I think you can share it. You are a co-host right now. Are you able to share it? Yes, we can see.
So shall we start? Like reading means what? What do you mean by, reading? Reading, like हम लोग बचपन से it'll be a mixed language, Ziana?
Yeah, not an issue. Not.
So reading is something we do it from the very beginning. हम लोगों को जब the first word we read is A. So we'll talk about today, we'll talk about the skills, we'll talk about the techniques, we'll talk about the methods, we'll talk about everything today. But before that, I would like to give you something, some introduction, something about reading, as in, from the childhood to the person who is 80 or 90 years old. So we'll see how this reading impacts. हम लोग जब बोलते हैं कि हमने कुछ रीड किया, क्या रीड किया, लाइक कुछ भी, अगर बच्चे को भी बोलते हैं कि बच्चे ने कुछ रीड किया या हमने कुछ रीड किया, we have read a newspaper, we have read some article. So there are methods of reading. We cannot just like we say reading, but it has a lot of things into it. Now when we are child, if we start with the word or a letter A, that is how we start our reading. That is the first step of our reading skills. Now from that very point, everything comes into the picture. There is easy reading, like when we were child, they used to give the picturesque things, say for example A as an apple, we used to picturize. So reading used to become very very easy when it comes to the picture. अगर हमें कुछ भी पिक्चर में दिया होता है तो हम कॉन्सेप्ट इजीली समझ जाते हैं. So again, that is also called reading. Now I would like to tell you that the main important thing of reading is how we connect the things with the lines which is written, with the person who has written that thing, which gives us some knowledge. हमें कुछ भी अगर लाइन दी गई होती है, कुछ भी दिया गया होता है, तो हमें उसमें से we have to take a meaning. We should know something out of it. That is reading. हमने reading किया, न्यूज़पेपर हमने read किया है, तो why do we read newspaper? To get the news. अगर कभी-कभी कई बार हम क्या करते हैं, we just read the headlines. Now, with reading the headlines itself, we know that what is there inside. We do not at times read each and every article. We do not go inside, or we do not, we do not even try to see what is in it. It depends on, again, the interest of what you are interested in while you are reading. Say for example, you are interested in politics, so agar heading di gayi hoti hai politics, then and then only we go inside the whole thing and then we read. तो जब हम बच्चे थे तभी हमें पिक्चर दिया जाता था, हमें we used to get a lot of techniques of reading. पिक्चर थे, छोटे छोटे we used to get those alphabets, छोटे छोटे we used to learn with the things. That is how we have learned reading. जब जब बड़े होते गए, accordingly the reading styles have changed. Styles in the sense of, like, we were kids, we used to get the alphabet, then we used to get a small written sentence, then we used to get a whole story. Now even in the sentence, if I don't read the whole sentence, and if, say for example, I don't read a sentence, then that particular thing, if there is a small picture, someone is, say for example, this boy is reading a picture. Now without even looking at the whole sentence, I'll be able to say that this boy is reading a picture. That is how the visualization comes into the picture, and from there the reading skill whole starts. धीरे धीरे करके, then it used to be the whole stories, then used to be a paragraphs, then in the higher standards we really used to get those techniques. Then we understand with the graphs, with the whole graphs. अगर हम देखने जाए तो especially in the CA or in the higher thing, you have lot of graphs, you have lot of numbers, you have lot of calculations, which according to those you'll be able to read, you'll be able to know the end result. So you have to make a proper table. Say for example, if you are making a debit or credit of something, then you have to make a proper table of that, and with that table only you'll be able to read what is there inside it. अगर वो आप पैराग्राफ में लिखने जाओगे कि ये इसका डेबिट हुआ, उसका क्रेडिट हुआ, या होल स्टोरी करने जाओगे, that is going to help you out. So reading is again a kind of skills. Skills में आता है picture skills में आता है graphic skill में आता है paragraph skills में आता है story skills में. Now if you go to see, you see our an 80-year-old man reading a book. He'll read the whole story, he'll read the whole article to understand. Why? Because he has been taught that way. He has a lot of time, he has lot of energy in reading the whole thing he has to put in. So they will read that is called patient reading. They are a patient readers. the person who reads the novel, the person who reads the book, the person who reads the proper newspaper with each and every kind, each and every line, sorry, each and every line, they are known as a patient readers. So it depends what kind of a reader you are, what kind of material you want from the reading. Let's see, with all these slides and with everything, slowly by little, we'll see what are the reading skills we have to develop, or we have been developing this many years, and we have to input it, or we have to do it practically. Introduction. Reading skill is the ability to understand the information presented in a written form. Anything which is in written form, any picture given, you have to understand that. And for that understanding, or for that particular thing, it is very important that the information has to be given on the paper. For example, if you have to say this is a paper with the game of a chess. Now if I want to practically make understand anyone that how to play a chess, then he'll not understand what are all the pegs, or how they move. They'll not understand. But I have to have something or the other in the written form, something on this is a picture form, in which I'll make them start doing the whole thing. This is a whole thing. I'll ask them that you just go through it and you will start understanding the things. But if I tell them just read how to play the chess, just read how to play the other board games, is it possible? No, it is not possible. At times the games like chess has to be understood properly, and has to be followed properly. So this is how anything written form, it can be in any written form, has to be informed so well, and the information should go directly into your mind in such a way that it lasts long. Effective reading skills are always essential in our academics as well as professional career. Without reading, you're not going to get into any kind of. Today, for example, I'm speaking on the reading skills. Of course, I have to go through so many books. I have gone through so many PPTs. I've gone to so many other things for which I make easier for you to I'll make easier to understand what are the reading skills. If possible, I would have taken anything from anywhere and given you and then said this is the PPT. No, but there has to be a systematic way in which you have to go, and you have to make others understand, or make others understand what message you want to give. That is exactly the main power of reading. If you read properly, you'll be able to communicate with the others in a proper way. They are more necessary these days among the phenomenal advanced technology, globalization, increasing cultural diversity, and adoption of team-based structures in workplace of team-based structures. A very important thing is, today we are living in a cosmopolitan city, or we are living in a cosmopolitan world rather. There you have lots and lots of other languages, loads and loads of technologies which you have to understand, and then you have to communicate with the outer world. Now that is only possible when you understand it properly. And for that understanding, you have to go through so many books, you have to go through so many magazines, you have to go through so many articles. Now for this, I would like to tell you one thing is that the most important part of the whole thing is understanding. Understanding means, chalo pad liya humne, but how you have read it. You have just read, you have just gone through the whole thing and then you are making the people understand, or you have gone through this a small little thing and then you are asking people to do. Say for example, your the whole course of CA, you have to understand it in a very, you have to have a deep knowledge of your subject, and then only you'll be able to communicate, you'll be able to take the whole thing further. for when it comes to technology, there are so many new machines which are coming up. So many companies are coming up with a robot. I'll give you a example of the company which I was working. I was working with the High Tech Investment Castings Limited. They had got a robot. Now that robot, this I'm talking about 10 or 15 years back. So it is a long time back where there was no nowadays a lot of a lot of these apps are coming for the translation. There was one app known as Babelfish, in which we used to translate all the languages. So what happened was, like, the new machine came into the company, and we all started, it was a very new thing. It was a robot, and it is still, they have today, till date, they have a robot. Just go to that High Tech Investment Casting Limited company, and you can see that in the site they have put that robot. It works really nice. But when it came, they had actually imported from Japan. So each and everything was written in the Japanese language. That was a big thing. Now what happened? We actually called from the Tokyo itself, and he said that he was actually fluent in English, but again, their English is different than what our English is. So it was very easy for us to understand the Japanese language instead of what he used to speak in English, because we were able to translate whatever he used to speak. We used to put in that the Babel fish, and we used to translate it. So that was much easier. So again, the whole reading, everything, the whole book, before he came, beforehand, before he came from the Tokyo, or the from his place, we had actually translated the whole book and kept it. So we did our homework. Basically, we did our homework. I'm sorry, there's no noise from this side, right? Can anyone can hear? Like, anyone is getting disturbed?
Yeah, it's no noise coming.
Okay. So we actually, what we did is, we actually translated the whole book from Japanese to English, and then we were actually able to connect with him so easily, because we had already done our homework. We had already read the whole book, how did it operated, and how did it work, what are the techniques which were used in that, what are the timings and everything. So it became much easier for us to go ahead with that. So when it comes to cultural diversity, I meant this, that nowadays what happens, everything has become globalization. You are going to connect with a person whom you don't know the other side. So that is how it works. But whenever it happens like that, you have to read, you have to do your homework, in the sense of, whenever something new comes up, you have to really go through what is it exactly, how you're going to like, you have your customers coming from abroad, and there's a language problem which is going to happen. At least you should know how to wish them in their own language to make them feel at home. So that is how. But for that, you have to really go through the different kinds of article which comes on the internet, or which easily you get it on the internet. It is a cognitive process of decoding symbols to derive meaning from text, as if reading a book or reading a music. See, whenever you read a book, it's not just you're reading it. You're reading up, except the newspapers or articles, you read something for your own interest, whether it is a book, whether it is a whole report of your company, or whether it is an article. You read for some or the other reason, or you can say you are reading a novel for your own leisure. So for whatever reason you are reading for your own interest. You want something from that. And that's like your mind at that point of time when you're reading, it is decoding. Decoding means if I say we start with a child. If I say A for him, he will visualize an aeroplane. He'll visualize an apple. The same it is with us. If we when we start with a novel, like there was in the say for example, we start with the saying that there are different countries capital, or there are different countries, then we visual. If they say there was once upon a time there was this in the Switzerland, we really decode the Switzerland, the scenery or the whole picture which we have seen on the TV or on the internet or wherever. We start decoding it in our mind. There was a person living in Bern, we'll start decoding the whole picture of the Bern, whatever we have seen. At times I've seen people that what they do is they'll read the whole novel, then there are certain pictures thing which they'll go and they'll visualize on the internet itself. So that decoding of the words in from the book or from the words, letters, lines into your mind is very important. Three components of reading are decoding, comprehension, and retention. Decoding. It refers to the process of translating a printed word into a sound, a picture, a message, or whatever it is. As I told you that it is very important, very, very important that while you are reading or while you are learning something, you have to decode it in your mind, and then only you'll be able to communicate. See, okay, if you are reading a novel for your leisure, it is fine. But if you are reading something for your own interest, or if you are reading something with which you have to give out something, then you have to really decode it properly. आप अपने तक सीमित रख रहे हो कि ठीक है चलो मैं नॉवेल पढ़ रहा हूँ या मैं कुछ और कर रही हूँ मेरे लेजर के लिए, तो मैं खुद तक रखूं, ठीक है. बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू decoding it, or when it comes to again telling it to somebody, then I have to decode it in such a way that I'll be able to communicate to the others in a very, very informative way, that they will understand what the reading is, or they'll understand with, I'll make the graphs, I'll make the whole picture, I'll make the amount of time which is given to the reading, the amount of time which is given to the speaking, amount of time which will be given to explaining the other person. That is how the whole process goes on when it comes to reading and then communicating. So reading and communication both goes hand in hand. So you have to be very, very particular with what intention you are reading, whether you want to communicate to the other person or whether you want to keep it to yourselves. So that is how it goes. Comprehension. It is defined as the level of understanding of the text message. This is understanding comes from the interaction between the words that are written and how they trigger knowledge outside the text message. This is one very important thing, that our brain works differently in different persons person. Like all if we say something, if I say something for say for example aeroplane, then all will have a different picture of aeroplane in their mind. Just tell me one person thinking of the same aeroplane as the other person who is thinking. None of them will do like that. Everyone will have a different picture in their mind. So like the same thing happens with everyone. Whenever you read something, you give reading to if you give the same line, say for example, if you give one line to each and every person to read, but when it comes to communicate or when it comes to decoding in their mind, the mind of each and every person will work on a different platform. Some will read the say for example, if right now I'm saying that I want to decode something, I'm decoding something, the same word or same line will have a different impact on each and every person's mind. So this is how the whole process works, and it becomes very, very difficult to, get one person or the other person on a same or a same platform. So what one will do is that the whole thing he will decode in his mind, he'll carry out the process, and then he'll again communicate to the other person. So that is the comprehension, how we are going to text it, how we are going to message it. Somebody says, hey, hello, how are you? Somebody says, hey, how are you? Somebody says, hi, how are you? So these are different kind of writing or written messages which has been sent to the other person, but they communicate the same thing. They communicate the same thing to the other person. I hope you are understanding it and making as easy as possible for you all.
Yes.
Then it comes to retention. The condition of keeping something it cold be in short-term memory or a long-term memory. Now, the condition of keeping something it in a cold be in short-term, could be in short-term memory or a long-term memory. Now, what do you mean by short-term memory and long-term memory? See, there are instances which happens, it happens that you keep in your mind for a longer period of time, and there are instances which you keep in your mind for a short period of time. So the same thing happens while reading. There are certain article or certain for you, as I can give you the examples in your language, is that when you read a report of a company, what you do is you keep that report in your mind for a short period of time. Again, I am going to carry it forward to the other year every year. वो 2019 में ये हुआ था तो अभी 2021 आया तो the same thing carries on. No, but at times you remember certain things because you have read that, you have gone through the whole thing, so you know exactly what is going to be there. Now it comes to long term in the sense that for this particular year you are going to keep ये जनवरी का याद रखना ही पड़ेगा दिसंबर तक, या मार्च का याद रखना ही पड़ेगा अप्रैल तक. Why? Because that is again going to appear in your report. You are going to put it in a written form. You have to have a close thin line between both the reading, both the reading of say March and for the April. They are going to connect each other. They are going to reflect in your report. But again, the report which you have read in the other, say for example in 2019, is not going to reflect here. You know, it is in your short-term memory. Yes, this is going to be there, but it is not going to carry it forward from one to the other, from 1 year to the other. It's not going to get impact of 4 years or 5 years long term to this year. So again, there are certain things which are give you a long term effect, and the other thing which give you a short term effect. So you have to be, agar we have a sad demise in our family, it's a long term effect. We keep in mind, we really keep them in mind for at least it doesn't go for 3 to 4 years, or we take time out, coming out of that. And that the same thing happens while reading. There are certain novels which you read which वो अपने दिमाग में long term वो memory रह जाती है. It gives a long term effect or a long term impact on your the novel gives you the long term impact on your mind. But there are certain things वो आप leisure के लिए पढ़ते हो और फिर भूल जाते हो. That is how the long term and the short term plays in the reading skills. It depends on how you take the whole thing, how you characterize the whole thing, how you picturize the whole thing, and how you give it the load of that particular thing to your mind. I guess I'm very clear to what I have I have made you understand till here. Purpose of reading. The purpose of reading is to connect the ideas on the page to what you have already know. See, knowing is again, giving a seed to a plant. You know everything, but to exactly know, you have to read. आपको सब पता है कि चलो ये बुक, हाँ किसी ने बता दिया कि ये बुक में ये है, तो आपको पता रहेगा कि ये बुक में क्या है, बट एग्जैक्टली टू गेट द नॉट, टू गेट the peak of that, you should really read. You have to know, you have to go inside the whole thing and know exactly what is going on. अभी जो हमारे इसमें let's not talk about that, we'll take the whole news. हम लोग जो न्यूज की हेडलाइंस पढ़ते हैं, and to really sit and watch the news and sit and read the newspaper has the whole different impact. हम कोरोना की बात करते हैं, अगर कोरोना जो होता है, कोरोना जब था तब बहुत सारे लोग कोरोना कोरोना पूरा दिन करते रहेंगे। अगर हम कंटिन्यूअसली कोरोना के न्यूज देखें तो हमारे दिमाग पे द इम्पैक्ट वुड बी डिफरेंट देन व्हाट इज द इम्पैक्ट ऑन द अदर पर्सन्स ब्रेन विद हु डजंट सी द न्यूज कंटिन्यूअसली, who doesn't read the newspaper continuously. So the impact of that particular thing depends on how much you are reading, how much load you are putting of the particular thing to on your mind. So that is again the purpose of reading, why you are reading it. You want particular thing to, you know, really go through your mind, or you just want it on the higher side, on upper, जो हम बोलते हैं on the upper side of the brain, कि चलो थोड़ा सा हम लोगों ने पढ़ लिया और वो चला गया दिमाग से. So that again depends. If you want to know anything about your subject, then pouring word of the text into your mind is like pouring it into your hand. You do not retain much. Again, as I said, when you watch the news or when you read the article, आप heading पढ़ते हो, तो heading पढ़ने के बाद आपका जो impact होता है, that is different. And when you really read the articles, when आप अपने दिमाग में आर्टिकल वो पूरा रीड करते हो और उसको समझते हो, उसको आगे जाके बात करते हो, that creates a different impact. You know, at times we sit in the group and the group is discussing something, but you are not that much into the whole thing, so आप इतना discuss नहीं कर पाते हैं. क्यों नहीं कर पाते हैं discuss? Because you don't allow yourself to go, because you have not read that much the whole thing, और आप उसके बारे में इतना नहीं जानते हो, आप उसके बारे में इतना न्यूज नहीं पढ़ते हो, तो आपको कुछ पता नहीं होगा. The recent thing which is going on in Taliban, at times it happens कि बहुत सारे लोग बात कर रहे होते हैं और किसी को पता नहीं होता है कि क्या चल रहा है, पर वो इन डिटेल में जाके देखे, या इन डिटेल में जाके उन्होंने अगर कुछ भी किया है, इन डिटेल में जाके उन्होंने पढ़ा है कि क्या हो रहा है, then and then you will be able to decode at that point of time. So that is, अगर रीड किया है, अगर देखा है, अगर न्यूज सुना है, then and then only it is possible that you will be able to take your stand in that discussion. It can be any discussion, the current news affair, what is going on in the whole world, how the globalization is taking place, whatever it is, you will be able to only participate if you have read properly. ऊपर से रीड कर दिया या ऊपर से आपने बता दिया, तो you are not going to be a participant of that particular group. You will just listen. You will be the best listener. Again, that is a good thing, to be a best listener, and you know, to speak less. Again, that is a good thing. But you have to if you want to pour the words, if you want to say something, then it is very important that you have gone through the whole thing in depth. You know exactly कि अगर देखने जाए तो 12-13 साल पहले क्या सिचुएशन था, अभी क्या सिचुएशन है, how the things are going to work. If you want to pour your views, then definitely you have to read. Without reading, you cannot be a participant. You can just be a listener. And again, according to me, it is a good thing. Try reading these numbers now. See, it is like, अगर मैं बोलने जाऊं 4236198, this is hard to read the number, or again to remember also. But if I say 423, take a break, 6198, this is easier because it's chunking, it's in chunks. You know, whenever you read, make sure that you are reading in parts. सो यू अंडरस्टैंड वन पार्ट, आपने पूरा पेज रीड कर दिया, फिर दूसरा पेज रीड किया, तीसरा किया, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, यू रीड अगेन. यू नो हाउ दीज ऑथर्स दे राइट द बुक, उनको उनको ये कहाँ से आते हैं, लाइक कहाँ से सोच और कहाँ से आते हैं. It basically comes from the reading. अगर आप एक ही चीज रीड करते रहोगे, एक ही चीज कंटिन्यूअसली रीड करते रहोगे, तो व्हाट हैपेंस इज यू विल गेट समथिंग न्यू आउट ऑफ दैट एंड यू विल स्टार्ट thinking more about it, and you will start giving the input about the same thing in a different manner on a larger scale. सो आप ऑथर को अगर देखने जाओ तो वो भी मतलब उसको ऐसा नहीं है कि चलो दुनिया देख ली और चलो ऑथर बन गए, ख्याल आने लगे. नो, व्हाट दे डू इज दे रीड लॉट and they read it in a certain manner, they read it in a pieces, they read it in a different paths, they read it to write, they read to write. So their reading is different than what we read. We read for our knowledge, they read to for the input, they take something from that and they again give their own input in their own article. So the reading of a reader is different than the reading of an author. Reason for poor reading: inability to understand the words. I'm not a science student, and if somebody gives me a science physics notebook of say the TY or SY, will I be able to give any output, or will I be able to read the whole thing in one go, or will I be able to understand? No, because I'm not into that the whole picture. I don't understand that. I don't understand the technical words which are used in the science. For that, I have to read from again. The base is A. So what I have to do is again I have to read the A, and then I'll be able to make the whole sentence, or I'll be able to read the whole technical thing. So that is how you have to, this inability for me to understand a word when it comes to the science or when it comes to the physics or chemistry. Will I be able to decode the whole equation which is given in the chemistry? No, it is not possible. Why? Because I'll be unable to do that, because I don't know the A of that. So it is very, very important to understand the words which are given. For that, you have to practice reading or practice the particular subject in which you are interested from very beginning. There are certain words in the accounts or in the whole management theory, which only the management person will be able to understand. The science person wouldn't be able to understand the whole as we understand. Why? Because you have to read for that. You have to read in that part. Of course, I don't say that they'll not be able to decode, but decoding it in a technical way, in a management way, is different than what a particular or a normal person will decode it. Inability to understand a sentence, inability to understand how sentences relate to one another. The sentences of the book or a sentence of an article will relate the one line to the last line of the novel. It starts with the one line of the novel and it, excuse me. I will make you understand from the one line of the novel to the last line of the novel. So again, each sentence are interrelated to each other. You read the first paragraph of the book at times, and you read the last paragraph of the book at times, you'll be able to understand what is there inside. So understanding the whole sentence is again वो पीछे का जो gist दिया हुआ होता है novel के पीछे. You read that and you almost understand the 25% or say 30% of the story of the book. So that is how the power of the word, the power of the reading is, the power of the knowledge is. Inability to understand how information is put together in a meaningful way. अगर मैं बोलूं एक sentence related to some other subject, and I'll say the other sentence related to the other subject, will you be able to put together in a meaningful way? No. So there should be a flow, a proper flow in reading, a proper flow in writing, a proper flow in making the understand, making to make understand other people, the people's view. If you want them to understand your book, or if you want them understand your novel, there should be a proper writing, so that the other person will decode that writing, they'll read properly, and then they'll understand something or the other out of there, and they'll decode to the world in their own way. So it is their reading skill which will make them understand that how they have to decode to the other person or communicate to the other person. Whatever you are decoding or whatever you are communicating is nothing but your visualization and reading. These are the two main things. As I said, that if you want to read an article, you are reading it from upar se, then again you are going to decode it in the same way. If you are reading an article in which you are interested, and you will decode in the other, you are going to decode in a different way. It is like you're going to stand out. If you're reading an article and the group is discussing on the same thing and you have read it properly, then you're going to outstand yourself in that whole particular group, or you'll be an active participant. So see how the how much the power the reading has. Lack of interest or concentration depends on your subject. If you are not interested, आपको कितना भी अगर मैं समझाऊंगी या कितना भी अगर मैं आपको बुक्स दे दूं कि चलो ये पढ़ लो, आपको आ जाएगा, ये पढ़ लो, बट यू आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड ओनली, you're not interested, so you will not concentrate. You are not interested, you will not concentrate. Mera, say for example, I'm not much more into a cricket and all, so if you give me so many, if you show me so many pictures, if you show me so many pictures of players, or if you tell me something, I won't be able to answer that. Why? Because I have no interest in that. मुझे बिल्कुल भी इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, मुझे बिल्कुल भी उसमें आई वोंट बी एबल टू कंसंट्रेट, बिकॉज वो मेरा सब्जेक्ट नहीं है. So that is how you will read only the articles in which you are interested. I hope that you all are clear till here. Why reading is important. Now, for reading, it is a very important thing in the life to go ahead, because without reading, you are not going to be an active participant in the life. I was just talking about the group, and now I'm talking about the life. You are not going to be, actively participating in any of the regular routine activities. Without reading, you are not going to go ahead. One thing I would like to share is आप दुनिया में कितना भी बदलाव ला सकते हो, लेकिन कोई भी सुबह अगर न्यूज़पेपर आपके घर पे एक दिन भी नहीं आता है, तो व्हाट हैपेंस इज यू विल स्टार्ट फीलिंग अनकंफर्टेबल आफ्टर फ्यू डेज कि हमने न्यूज़पेपर नहीं पढ़ा है. दैट्स द पावर ऑफ रीडिंग. आप देखना, ये कोरोना के टाइम थोड़े दिन न्यूज़पेपर बंद थे, तो वो थोड़ी सी बेचैनी हो गई थी. ओ मार्केट कहाँ जा रहा है, कैसा होगा, सबके घर पे वो किसी के घर पे इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स आता है, किसी के घर पे व्यापार बंद हो गया, तो इट वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट कि क्या हो रहा है मार्केट में, क्या कहाँ कौन जा रहा है, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. So the world became topsy turvy. The आप कितना भी मोबाइल दे दो किसी को, कितना भी पढ़ने के लिए बुक्स दे दो, क्या क्या कुछ आप दे दो, लेकिन अगर न्यूज़पेपर सुबह सुबह नहीं दिया तो इट बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम टू टू पास द होल डे. So that is how the whole thing is. Reading is a fundamental to function in today's society. In today's society, you should be a reader, and not only a reader, a good reader. Then and then only you'll be able to stand yourself. You'll be able to participate. You'll be able to जैसे बोलते हैं ना, एक अपनी पहचान बना पाओगे. रीडिंग के बिना आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. एंड बिलीव मी, रीडिंग इज जस्ट अ लेजर. आप जितना रीड करोगे उतना आपको नॉलेज तो मिलेगी ही मिलेगी, बट यू विल फील रीजुविनेट. एक जो रीजुविनेट होता है, रीजुविनेशन होता है, दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन टुडेज वर्ल्ड. Reading is a vital skill in finding job. Again, if you go to find a job, the most important thing is like जैसे कि आपने read नहीं किया है, you don't know about your subject, then nobody see, people are going to see you practically, that practically you are good at it, practically you are very very going person, but you have to have a certain knowledge of your own subject. Now for your own subject आपको नॉलेज कहाँ से मिलेगी? हाँ, आप दो तीन चीजें फ्रेंड्स को पूछ ली या आजू बाजू वाले को पूछ लिया, they'll give you a normal information जो उन्होंने पढ़ा है. पर अगर आपको सही इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए या आपको अगर सही जॉब चाहिए, तो वहां कोई टेक्निकल अगर क्वेश्चन आया तो यू शुड नो, इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू शुड नो दैट just a minute. ओके सिद्धार्थ जी, आपको थोड़े एग्जांपल्स चाहे, वो मैंने अभी देखे, वो आगे आगे हम एग्जांपल्स भी लेते जाएंगे. तो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू give the whole picture. If you want to give the whole picture to the person, or if you want to give the whole idea to a person, and who is sitting in front of you, who is interviewing, then it is very very important that you should read. आपको पता है, मैं आपको बहुत एक अच्छा एग्जाम्पल देने वाली हूँ संजय रावल का. आपको पता है, वो इज संजय रावल. ही इज अ गुड ऑरेटर. ही स्पीक्स वेरी वेरी वेल. he is into he is a motivational speaker. आजकल आप देखने जाए तो बहुत सारे motivational speaker आ गए हैं, and they speak a lot about the world, a lot about, they give a lot of positive vibes, they give a lot of positive energy. वो एक बार अपने उसमें बोल रहे थे कि he is just like he's just passed his he's just a graduate. He was once telling that I have read 10,000 books. 10,000 books में यहाँ आने के लिए 10,000 books I have read the more than 10,000 books to stand here. So reading book is like, it is always going to give you something positive, something to grow, but you have to read it in a way. ऊपर से read कर लिया तो you're not going to give a proper knowledge. That is not going to give you a proper thing. Just a second, I'll switch on the light because of the clouds, I guess. Reading is again important because it develops the mind. As I told you that बिना reading के आपका development, आपका growth वहीं पे रुक जाएगा. It is how we discover new things and develop the creative side of people. Only by reading can we armed in never-ending life and death struggle. Reading is important because words spoken and written are building blocks of life. So again, if you read, it is the वो life और death का जो फासला है वो हम कवर कर सकते हैं. At times if you have read something, कई बार पता है क्या होता है, ऊपर ऊपर से भी अगर आप कुछ भी रीड कर लेते हो या ऊपर ऊपर से भी यू टेक द नॉलेज, तो कहीं कहीं बार आपका जो कभी लाइफ में कोई भी प्रॉब्लम आती है तो यू विल बी एबल टू सॉल्व इट वेरी क्विकली. So that is how the reading is it will the building blocks, it will create the whole building blocks to your own life. I hope that I'm giving a clear examples and I'm giving clarity to what you want to understand. Improving reading skills. Now, improving reading skills is one of the most important part. रीड तो सब कर लेते, रीड तो मैं भी कर लेती हूँ, चलो ये रीड कर लिया, बट यू हैव day by day you have to improve your reading skills. You will improve your reading skills by by solving just small games which comes in the newspapers, like say those the spellings which are given, the jumbled words which are given, the crosswords which they give. They will create a more vocabulary understanding in you. So it is very important that you read. You will, first of all, the only thing which will keep you motivated or which will keep you updated on reading is a newspaper. So without जो आदमी अगर 12-13 साल से या उससे भी पहले 10-11 साल से जो पूरा न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ने लगता है और जो पूरा न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ता है ना, I think so he is the best knowledgeable person. I know. I'll tell you one person. Unki company is based in Bhavnagar. He is also known as his name I forgot. Some Shah. So unko bachpan se he is now into HUL. तो वो पूरा एक यूनिट उन्होंने भावनगर के साइड भावनगर में शुरू किया हुआ है. तो उनको क्या शौक था, बचपन से वो पढ़ने का शौक था. He is not a graduate person, nor he knows anything, but he is handling the whole HUL team in such a way that he is right now he's on the top on in Gujarat. He is on top. Ramesh Shah करके है उनका नाम. So who is not a graduate person, but the only thing is he wants to he is interested in reading. वो बहुत ही दिलचस्पी रखते थे रीडिंग में. वो पहले से न्यूज़पेपर रीड करते थे, कुछ भी बुक मिली वो रीड करते थे, but he is not a graduate person. So reading gives him that much power and that much knowledge that today he is standing in top 10 companies of the whole Gujarat. He is into HUL and he is making soaps for HUL. हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर के लिए वो सोप बनाते हैं. तो जो हम लक्स सोप खरीदे, he has the franchisee of whole and he is into top 10. रमेश शाह करके है, उसका नाम RV शाह है. Read variety of materials. Do not limit yourself by just reading a textbook. See, bookish knowledge is knowledge which will confine you to give the technical part. वो आपको एक टेक्निकल पार्ट समझाने के लिए बना हुआ है. वो आपको उससे आगे या उसके आगे देयर आर कंस्ट्रेंट्स इन द टेक्स्ट बुक. बट व्हेन यू गो टू सी, व्हेन यू टेक सो मेनी आप एक ही टॉपिक पे अगर सारी अलग अलग बुक्स रीड करोगे तो that becomes very very easy for understanding the whole concept. आपको एक practicality की भी knowledge मिल जाएगी. And to get that knowledge, it is very important that you should not just read a textbook. You should also get the knowledge of different authors. See, different people have different point of view for different things, and it is very important that you take a charge of yourself and read and be an active participant in whatever you are doing. So it is very important. Read a fairly long portion of material. Try to read an entire section or chapter instead. अगर आप रीडिंग करते ही जाओगे विदाउट अंडरस्टैंडिंग इट, आप थोड़ा सा अपना प्रैक्टिकल, थोड़ा सा अपना खुद के नॉलेज के लिए भी कुछ ग्राफ्स बनाओ, उसमें से कुछ get a practical knowledge. Try to discuss it out with the other people. Discussing is also one of the more important thing, because I'll give you a very recent example. कहीं कहीं हम लोग जब ग्रुप में जाते हैं तो हम लोगों के ग्रुप में there are different type of people. There are people who don't speak much. There are people who will share all their secrets or share everything to the other. Why it happens? Why there are different people? Why there are different people? स्पीड के बारे में सब आ जाएगा, सब वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट द स्पीड, विल डिस्कस एवरीथिंग. स्टिल वी हैव 1 more hour, so we'll go slowly. I'll make you understand each and everything. When कहीं लोग ऐसा बोलते हैं, see, there are two kind of people who are just silent listeners, and there is a person who always keep on talking. Now silent listener has a backup. उसके पीछे एक बात सुनो, साइलेंट लिसनर कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि वो कुछ बोल नहीं सकता है. Why he is a silent listener? Because he has a backup of constantly giving him support. वो शायद बुक रीड करता होगा, वो शायद उसके पीछे कोई है जो उसको सपोर्ट करके सब कुछ बताता है कि ये सही है, ये गलत है. There is something. So that is why he's a silent reader. He'll not participate in that particular group. Now, who is an active participant? Who is an active participant? जो बहुत बोलता है. There is also another side. जो silent listener है, उससे opposite जो बहुत बोलता है, सब कुछ जो उसको पता है वो बता देता है. He'll tell you everything. What is happening in his life also he'll tell you everything. Because that person doesn't have a backup, that person doesn't read much. What he wants is an input from the others. What he'll try to do is, हम लोग जब बैठते हैं तो बोलते हैं कि चलो आज तो मैंने ये शेयर में डाल दिया, आज तो 3i इन्फोटेक है वो डीलिस्ट हो गया है मार्केट से. तो सामने वाले बोलेगा अच्छा ये हुआ है, ये इंफॉर्मेशन है, मुझे इंफॉर्मेशन ऐसी मिली है कि वो जो है वो थोड़े टाइम में वापस खुलने वाला है, या कुछ भी शेयर की बातें हो, कुछ भी वो कुछ भी बताते रहेगा. Why? Because he wants information from the others. He will not read it by himself, or he will not make an effort to go into detailed reading. So it is very, very important that you should know the person, that either he, आपको भी पता चलना चाहिए कि मुझे नॉलेज किससे मिलने वाला है. A person who is a good reader or a person who is a good listener. There are two kind of people. A person who is a good reader and a person who is a good listener. Good listener will always be on a silent side and will try to capture the information, while the good reader will always try to share the information which he has. See, there is a difference between a good reader and a good listener. So it is very important to know that who is a good listener, who is a good reader. Circle unknown familiar words as you read. हम जब बच्चे थे तब parents used to tell us that you circle the whole word. A baby till date, even we are big, we are in our more than we are in our about 25 years of age, we still, what we do is we underline the words which we don't understand, which will again help you to go to the dictionary. And I'll tell you one thing, अभी जब ये बात निकली है तो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग आई वांट टू टेल यू इज दैट कि अब ऐसा हो रहा है कि कुछ भी अगर वर्ड का आंसर नहीं मिलता है तो हम तुरंत जाके गूगल कर देते हैं, तो हमें आंसर मिल जाता था. यू नो व्हाई? द इनिशियल स्टेजेस में या इनिशियल डेज में हम गुड रीडर कहा जाता था, क्योंकि अभी हम इतना पढ़ते नहीं है. पहले डिक्शनरी सिस्टम थी. डिक्शनरी सिस्टम क्या करती थी? डिक्शनरी सिस्टम यूज्ड टू हेल्प अस अ लॉट. आई टेल यू हाउ. डिक्शनरी में मुझे कोई वर्ड चाहिए. Say for example, I want a word in a dictionary and I'm finding that word. To find that particular word, I will have to go through so many other words to reach that word. मुझे अगर कोई भी एक वर्ड चाहिए तो मैं 10 वर्ड और साथ में रीड कर लूंगी और तब भी जाके मुझे मेरा वर्ड मिलेगा. तो दैट इज हाउ माय वोकैबुलरी आल्सो यूज्ड टू वोकैबुलरी आल्सो यूज्ड टू मेरी वोकैबुलरी भी अच्छी होती थी. आई हैव टू ब्रश अप माय वोकैबुलरी. हमारे पेरेंट्स थे तो वो डिक्शनरी लेके बैठे थे. एक लास्ट वर्ड जो था वो वहां पे जाने के लिए वो लोग पहले 10 और वर्ड्स देख लेते थे. So that is how they used to know the words, they used to understand, they can solve the crosswords very fast than what we do. उनकी वोकैबुलरी भी बहुत अच्छी होती है. उनकी पढ़ने की स्पीड है, दैट इज आल्सो वेरी वेरी दिस फास्ट देन अस. It all depends on how you see. Somebody asked me about the question how to read fast और हमारी स्पीड कैसे बढ़ी जाए. तो एक तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल you have to have a reading habit. एक बार रीडिंग हैबिट फॉर्म हो जाती है, उसके बाद what you will do is you will only pick up the words which are important in that paragraph. हाँ, अगर आप लेजर के लिए पढ़ रहे हो तो स्पीड की आई डोंट थिंक सो देयर इज एनी नीड ऑफ अ स्पीड और देयर इज नो नथिंग लाइक कि चलो मैं स्पीड में पढूं. बट यू हैव टू रियली वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड समथिंग. तो आपको अगर रीडिंग की आदत होगी तो ऑटोमेटिकली यू विल स्टार्ट पिकिंग अप द वर्ड्स व्हिच विल मेक द मीनिंग. वो मीनिंग वाले वर्ड्स ही आप रीड करना शुरू कर देंगे, मीनिंग वाले वर्ड्स ही आप रीड करेंगे. सो दैट इज हाउ यू विल ऑटोमेटिकली will be able to speed up your readings. जैसे कि आपको समझ में आने लगेगा. आप अगर ऊपर से भी पैराग्राफ रीड किया तो यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. आपको सब कुछ ऑटोमेटिकली पूरा इन डेप्थ समझ में आने लगेगा. बट उससे पहले आपको एक रीडिंग की हैबिट लगानी होगी. लाइक come what may, I'm going to read the newspaper for at least half an hour in the morning. मेरी कौन सी भी मीटिंग हो, कुछ भी हो, automatically you will get the speed and automatically you will pick up only words which will make you understand or which will make you which will give you the literal meaning of that particular whole article. That is how you'll be able to speed up your reading. After reading, recall as much as information as you can. Consider how interesting the subject matter is and how much you already know about the subject. Answer the questions about the material after reading it. You have to ask your own self that whether I am able to understand. मैंने ये पूरा जो आर्टिकल पढ़ा है वो क्या मैं अंडरस्टैंड कर पाया हूँ या मैं अंडरस्टैंड कर पाई हूँ. इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट. So reading in speed is up to you that how you are catching up. It is up to you that how you are going to catch up the words, and for that you have to read continuously. एक साल read किया, 2 साल read किया. No, you have to make a habit of reading. Automatically that's you will see the difference, or you will see the whole change in you automatically after certain period of time. That is how you have to read. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm not able to change my slide. I don't know why.
Yes, you are audible. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. But I'm not able to change. I don't know, because of the rain, or I don't know.
It just changed. Now we can see.
Okay. Methods and techniques of reading. Here comes your methods and techniques of reading. There are three important methods of reading that we look at. The important methods, it's mapping, KWL charts, and SQ3R charts. See, you reading, आपको जितना फास्ट आपको रीड करोगे एंड यू विल बी एबल टू, एक बार आप रीडिंग सीख जाओगे कि चलो मैं फास्ट रीड कर रहा हूँ या फास्ट रीड कर रही हूँ, दैट विल ऑटोमेटिकली आपको वो जो पूरा रीडिंग है वो आपको एक पिक्चर में बनाने के लिए आ जाएगा. यू विल बी एबल टू give your inputs. You'll be able to give the whole thing in the picture, in the whole thing. You'll be able to decode it in the picture. You will be able to communicate to the others in a different way, and in a way in which the other person will be able to understand. First is mapping. Mapping the chapters as you preview, it provides a visual guide to how different chapter ideas fit together. How you're going to see, एक ऑथर को देखने जाओ तो ऑथर के पास तो पूरी बुक तो होती नहीं है. What will the author do? What will the author do? Author will take the subject from here and there, and he will put the material all together. He will first read, he will understand, he'll read, and then he'll decode, and then he'll send the message in the book, in the written form, to the readers. हमें ये की बुक बहुत अच्छी पढ़ने को लगती है. Why? Number one is interest. The other one is the written language in that, and the ability of that person to decode his idea through a book to the audience. That is very important. So mapping the chapters, the mapping. अगर मुझे आज बोला गया कि चलो आप इस पे आर्टिकल लिखो, तो मुझे तो कुछ पता ही नहीं है. What I'll have to do is I'll have to read, I'll have to take the materials from the different authors. I'll go through different PPTs, I'll go through different authors, I'll go through different people. I'll try, अगर मेरे पास बहुत टाइम हुआ, and I'll be able to get the time. I'll speak to the people whom I know. There are people who are more knowledgeable. पता है कहीं पे I have no idea, पर मैंने ऐसा सुना है कि there is a excuse me. There are people who are as in library. There is a people library. आप उनको जाके पूछोगे तो उनको कुछ भी आएगा, कहीं से भी उनके इंटरेस्ट रिलेटेड आपको जाके वो पर्सन को पूछना है, and he'll know everything about it. Why? Because they read a lot. It is their practice. They have become a reader's library करके उनको नाम दिया गया है. I don't know, and I exactly have no idea in which country, but there is a country in which they have started this as a reader's library. वो लोग वहां पे वही काम करते हैं. If you want any information regarding anything, they'll give you at that particular time or at that point of time in which you are interested in. आप अगर कुछ आपको टेक्निकल चाहिए तो आप टेक्निकल आदमी लाइब्रेरी के पास जाके आप टेक्निकल इंफॉर्मेशन उसके पास से ले सकते हो. So that is how that library is made. Now it's only and only because of their reading, their knowledge, they have reached here. So it is very important that how you are going to decode to the others, how you are reading it. 75% of the students are visual learners. Therefore, putting content in more graphic style can improve comprehension for many readers. There are people, who will want lot of graphics. See, at times graphic is very important, plus it is helpful, but in certain times अगर आप graphic देने जाओगे ना तो वो आपको half knowledge मिलेगा. If you want a full knowledge, there should be a proper written or a proper paragraph or a proper there should be a proper information giving. To give a proper information, always graphic doesn't work. Graphic is a very important tool. Graphic or a visual this thing is a very important tool to make the other people understand the charts, the number, the statistical data, everything. You'll be able to understand only when there is a visual graphics. But every time if you want to make them understand, it is not feasible to give them the information with the graphic. That will be a half knowledge. Then KWL charts. KWL charts is a chart which will make there'll be a 3 row, and you'll make the purpose of chart is to figure out what you know, what you want to learn, and ultimately what you have learned. That is a KWL chart. That is one of the method of reading. रीडिंग आप कैसे करोगे, एग्जैक्टली आपको क्या इंफॉर्मेशन, व्हाट डू यू वांट टू नो, व्हाट डू यू नो अबाउट द सब्जेक्ट और चैप्टर. जैसे मैंने बोला कि अगर मुझे कुछ भी इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए तो मैं थोड़ा सा होमवर्क कर लूंगी. मैं again I have my own brand in the name of Lifafas which are into arts and craft. सो अगर देखने जाओगे तो अभी मार्केट में बहुत सारा रेजन की चीजें मिलती है. रेजन के कोस्टर्स होते हैं, रेजन की ट्रेज होती है, ये वो. टू मेक दैट देयर आर लॉट ऑफ प्रोपोर्शन फॉर द रेजन. तो वो रेजन की चीजें क्या है, मुझे वो रेजन का प्रॉपर अंडरस्टैंडिंग, रेजन का प्रॉपर मेजरमेंट्स चाहिए. देन एंड देन ओनली आई विल बी एबल टू मेक. I'll have to do my home. Say for example, if a customer comes and asks me about any product of my knowledge, and what I have to do is first I have to know the subject, I have to know the chapter, I have to be in that stream. The best example I'll give you is अगर मुझे कोई बोलेगा कि चलो आप फिजिक्स के लेक्चर ले लो, अगर आप कोई बोलेगा कि आप केमिस्ट्री पे can you be a good speaker, can you speak for 2 hours on chemistry subject? No. Will I be able to do that? No, because I don't have a knowledge about it. I should have a little knowledge. I should do my homework. I should have a proper, a channel to follow in which I'll be able to input my own ideas. First is that. Then what do you want to know? What do you want to know in the sense of आपको क्या उसमें से क्या चाहिए? आपने अपना होमवर्क कर लिया है, यू नो लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. नाउ अगर आप पढ़ रहे हो, अगर आप कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन ले रहे हो बुक में से, तो ऑफ कोर्स यू विल हैव टू हैव समथिंग डिफरेंट. आपको कुछ अलग चाहिए, आपको कुछ डिफरेंट चाहिए. सो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो आपको उसमें से क्या लेना है, जो किया हुआ है वो ही लेना है कि जो करने वाले हैं वो ही लेना है. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. What have you learned about the subject or chapter? At last, उसमें से आप क्या सीखा है, आपको क्या मिला है उसमें से. The same thing what you have studied, the same thing what you know, or you have learned something different and you are going to decode it, you are going to communicate it in a different thing. So you make a list. For example, if you want a technical knowledge, मैंने जैसे बोला कि आपको हाईटेक इन्वेस्टमेंट कास्टिंग में जैसे रोबोट आया तो हमने बहुत सारा होमवर्क किया था. हमने वो बेबल फिश पे पूरा ट्रांसलेट किया था कि वो रोबोट कैसे चलेगा. I'll tell you one thing, that person who came the person who came to teach us the whole technicality of the robot, he was so happy that आपको तो इतना सब कुछ आता है, so मेरे लिए वो काम या मेरे लिए आपको सिखाना has become very easy. See, अगर आपको पता है तो सामने वाले को communicate करने में आपके साथ बहुत ही easy रहेगा, because you have done your homework, because you have read about it, because अब क्या चाहिए, चलो मैं हमारा वो रोबोट का पूरा हम लोगों ने होमवर्क कर लिया, तो हम लोग ने पहले थोड़ी बातचीत की उससे, उनसे बातचीत में पता, बिकॉज आई एम नॉट अ टेक्निकल पर्सन, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ अदर टेक्निकल पर्सन who are an engineer who had a talk, but I was again in a management team, I was sitting with them. तो उनके लिए वो बोल रहे थे कि हमारे लिए आपको समझाना इतना इजी रहा है कि वी हैड टू एटलीस्ट टेक 3 to 4 weeks दूसरे को समझाने के लिए, वी हैड टू एटलीस्ट टेक 2 to 4 weeks, बट आपके साथ हमारा बॉन्ड, उनका फिर बॉन्डिंग अच्छा हो गया, तो वो लोग जो टाइम लेके आए थे उस टाइम में से हम लोग कुछ एक्स्ट्रा निकाल पाए। हम लोग उनके पास मतलब दे कहीं कहीं में वो लोग क्या करते हैं, वो ट्रेनिंग देते हैं, ट्रेनिंग के टाइम दे हैव टू सिट अलोंग विद देम, यहाँ पे दे वर देयर, बट टेक्निकली अगर देखने जाए तो हमारा इंजीनियर जो है वो रोबोट पे काम कर रहा था, एंड दे वर जस्ट हेल्पिंग देम आउट। सी देयर इज अ डिफरेंस, आपको पूरा ए सिखाना पड़ता है या आप पूरे सेंटेंसेस लिख सकते हो, पूरा नॉवेल लिख सकते हो, उसमें बहुत ही फर्क है। इट इज लाइक दैट। So it is very very important that what do you want to know and what have you learned। तो हम लोगों ने क्या नया सीखा उन लोगों के पास से। तो एक बात बताओ, वो लोग क्या बोले कि इसमें देयर इज अ टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट, वो मशीन में ऐसा था कि वो टाइम जो था, वो टाइम में दे यूज्ड टू नेवर टेल दिस टू एनीवन, हम नहीं, उन्होंने सामने से बोला कि हम लोग ये टाइमर का जो पूरा प्रोसेस है वो हम नहीं सिखाते, बिकॉज हमारे पास टाइम ही नहीं होता है, बिकॉज हम लोगों को पहले से ही सिखाना पड़ता है उन लोगों को। बट व्हाट दे सेड इज दैट इट इज वी हैव लॉट ऑफ टाइम, बहुत ही टाइम बचा हुआ है हमारे पास, तो हम लोग आपको ये टाइमर का जो पूरा कैलकुलेशन है वो सिखा सकते हैं। एंड फॉर 3 days हमें वो टाइमर का कैलकुलेशन सीख लिया, और उससे हमारी एनर्जी कंजम्पशन, एनर्जी कंजम्पशन इतना कम हो गया, वी यूज्ड टू सेव एनर्जी, एंड today till date that robot is working with those timings which saves our energy, plus the electricity consumption is very less। And now to be very precise, only one person पूरा ऐसा मतलब बड़े बड़े दो जैसे हॉल जो थे, हॉल जैसे पूरा जो हॉल जितना बड़ा जो रोबोट है वो एक ही आदमी से काम करता है। नाउ वी हैव बिकम द मास्टर्स ऑफ दैट, बट वो लर्निंग से आता है, वो एक प्रैक्टिस से आता है। द सेम थिंग इट हैपेंस हियर, when you learn something, when you do a lot of practice, when you are habituated to it, it becomes very easy for you to again stand in this world। SQR3 methods, R3 मतलब there are 3 R's which we'll see again, हम लोग आगे देखेंगे। The SQR3 method is very similar to both of the previously mentioned method. It is a similar method. Of course, reading where there is no science, reading where there are no examples which I'll be able to give you. But you, to speed up, you have to be very regular. You have to read a lot of articles, और रीडिंग से मतलब रीडिंग से आपको नॉलेज मिलती ही मिलती है। रीडिंग से कभी भी कोई ऐसा नहीं बोलेगा कि यार आज रीड कर दिया एंड मुझे कुछ आया नहीं या मुझे कुछ भी उसमें से मिला नहीं, मैं बोर हो गया। हाँ, इफ यू आर नॉट रीडिंग द योर इंटरेस्टेड सब्जेक्ट, तो ऑफ कोर्स यू विल से दैट, बट इफ यू आर रीडिंग योर इंटरेस्टेड सब्जेक्ट, इट इज गोइंग टू एड अ क्रीम ऑन योर केक, बिलीव मी, it will always add a cream on your cake। The purpose of this method is to encourage you to preview, look at the questions that go along with your chapter, and then to focus on detailed reading of your chapters। आप मुझे बताओगे कि अगर आपको रीडिंग करनी है और आपको you want to know that whether this particular article will आपको अगर वो आर्टिकल रीड करने में इंटरेस्ट आएगा कि नहीं आएगा। Anyone who would like to answer this question? ओके वो पर्टिकुलर उनको कैसे पता चलेगा कि आप अगर रीड कर आई रीड 2-3 लाइन्स, मुझे वो 2-3 लाइन में भी पता चल जाएगा कि वेदर आई एम इंटरेस्टेड इन रीडिंग और नॉट। वो 2-3 लाइन में ही पता चल जाएगा वेदर आई एम इंटरेस्टेड इन रीडिंग और नॉट, वेदर पीपल आर इंटरेस्टेड in make in me interested in me to what I say or not. That is the most important thing. So आपको पूरा पता चल जाएगा कि आपको कैसे रीड करना है, कैसे आपको आपको वहीं से पता चल जाएगा whether the person, whether you are interested in reading that particular line or that particular article or not. See, SQR3 is survey questions, reread and review. There are 3 R's. S means survey. You are going to do the whole survey that whether you want to read this. वो सर्वे कैसे करेंगे, तो आप एक नॉवल ले, नॉवल के पीछे जो लिखा हुआ है उसमें आपको पता चल जाएगा कि whether I'm interested in reading this question or not. Question is again you are going to question the same thing, whether you are going to ask or whether you are going to know the whole idea about the whole novel. Rereaders, again you are going to reread and review what you have understand. यहाँ पे KWL आएगा, know what you want to learn, what do you want to learn, and what have you taken from the whole thing. So that is, these are the 3 important methods of the reading. I hope I'm very clear on this. Now, techniques of reading. There are mainly 2 techniques of reading. यहाँ पे intensive technique आएगी और extensive technique आएगी. Intensive technique में there are linguistic and content. Now we see intensive technique. Intensive technique में अगर बात करने जाए तो there are a lot of अभी देखने जाए तो there is a lot of linguistic problem. हमारे यहाँ पे ही अगर हमारे देश में जाए तो more than 30 languages are there in our own country that the books are into, पर हमारी main language है हिंदी. So there are a lot of books the books which comes in 2 languages, one in the main language or the home language, and the other in the Hindi, and the third language is English after that. So the intensive reading is आपको how you are going to intensively read that book, how you are going to intensively read that article, what content. अगर आपको कुछ knowledge के लिए चाहिए तो आप पूरी वो book लोगे and then you will start reading it and you will start decoding it. अगर मुझे कुछ भी अगर आज अगर if the very important example I can give is the technique of reading is, मुझे अगर आज today I had to speak on this, so I had to refer so many books, I have referred so many examples, I have referred so many PPTs, and then only I've come along here or in front of you to take the whole or to speak the whole thing about. So it is very important that how you take the topic seriously, or how you are going to take the content क्या है, that is very important. Then is extensive reading. Extensive reading is skimming and scanning. We'll see further. Intensive reading calls attention to detail of the purpose of understanding literal meaning implication. It draws analogy to intensive reading as zoom lens strategy. Zoom lens मतलब बारीकी से अगर आप रीड करते हो, आपको एक मैं बहुत ही अच्छा एग्जांपल देती हूँ कि अगर आपको कहीं पे जाना है, if you want to travel, तो ट्रैवल करने के टाइम अगर आप टिकट बुक कर रहे हैं या you are booking the tickets or you want to अगर आप tickets, okay, let me frame it in that way. मैं सोच रही हूँ कि मैं ये मंथ में जाऊंगी out of India and I want to book the tickets. So how will I read the tickets? How will I read the rates? And मैं अगर ऐसा बोलती हूँ कि मुझे ये दिन पे जाना है, आई वॉन्ट टू ट्रैवल टू आउट ऑफ इंडिया ऑन द 4th of October 2021, how will I read in both of the both, अगर देखने जाए तो both the examples में how I'll read the tickets. On the first example, I'll read the tickets that is very on a very upfront part, say seeing that कि क्या prices चल रहे हैं, अक्टूबर में कौन से दिन पे क्या क्या प्राइजेस, मैं ऊपर से देखूंगी. अगर मेरी सेकेंड एग्जाम्पल में अगर मेरी डेट फिक्स है, मेरी आई हैव माय डेट्स व्हिच आर फिक्स्ड, तो मैं कैसे हाउ विल आई सी, मैं एकदम जूम करके देखूंगी कि भाई 4 अक्टूबर को सारी फ्लाइट्स में देखूंगी पहले तो कौन सी फ्लाइट्स अवेलेबल है, हाउ आर द टिकट्स रेट, how fairly it is priced, and I'll properly study the whole thing. See, this is the difference. Intensive reading में I'll study the whole thing properly, I'll zoom it, I'll lens it, मैं पूरा उसको, मतलब मुझे कौन सी अगर सस्ती मिल रही है उसके उस दिन, तो मैं दूसरी फ्लाइट्स में ट्राई करूंगी. I'll see each and every flight, मैं सारी फ्लाइट्स देख लूंगी. बट मैंने क्या बोला फर्स्ट एग्जाम्पल में, मैंने बोला कि मुझे अक्टूबर में जाना है, तो मैं उस टाइम की, एक वीक की या पूरे टाइम की टेंटेटिव रेट्स देखूंगी. दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द ऊपर से रीड करना एंड इंटेंसिव रीडिंग. Characteristics of intensive reading. Reader is intensely involved in looking inside the text. As I gave you the example of booking the tickets. Focus on linguistic or semantic details of reading. Draw picture to aid them such as diagram. Read carefully. Aim to build more language knowledge rather than simply practice the skill of reading. ये था उसका एग्जाम्पल. दूसरा मैं इसमें एग्जाम्पल दे रही हूँ. इफ आई वॉन्ट टू राइट एन आर्टिकल और इफ आई वॉन्ट टू प्रेजेंट समथिंग, what I'll do is I'll go in detail of that particular subject, in depth. I'll try to get the maximum amount of knowledge from that, and then I'll decode it and then I'll present it. Now my decoding would be different. कोई भी एक आदमी या कोई भी एक इंसान का डिकोडिंग जो होता है ना, वो सेम नहीं होता है. इट इज डिफरेंट. It is different than what it is than the other person. मेरा decoding कुछ अलग रहेगा, आपका with the same presentation or with the same slide, the decoding of the topic or the decoding of the whole situation or the words would be different. So that is the most important thing in intensive reading is कि आप collect करो KWL, इसमें आता है. The KWL comes in intensive reading कि आप read करो, read करके आप अपने क्या चाहिए वो रखो, वो रख के आप उसको present करो, present in such a form that the other person will be able to understand in a very nice way. A very simple way, rather. Nice way is not a word, it is a simple way, or he'll understand. That is, those are the characteristics of intensive reading. Intensive reading activities. Identify the main ideas and details. Looking at the order of information and how it affects the message. Identify the words that connect one idea to the another. Identifying the words that indicate from one section to the other. See, identifying the main idea and details. There are certain main ideas which has to be there. Like, आप पता है कहीं हम जब you know, the best example is when we go and we give the exams. What we do is हम पूरा जो topic ऊपर का होता है, we write the main heading of it और अंदर कुछ भी लिख देते हैं, सोच के कि सामने वाला जो है वो पढ़ेगा नहीं. बट अगेन इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द रीडर. आप कौन से, आपका पेपर कौन से रीडर के पास गया है, यू नेवर नो. अगर वो रीडर के पास गया है जो सिर्फ टिक कर दे आपके उसमें और वो जो मेन हेडिंग देख के समझ जाए कि चलो अंदर क्या लिखा होगा, देन यू आर एट you are the masters, or you are the lucky person. But the person, when it comes to really the person has a time, they read, they reciprocate, they understand what you want to tell, and you have done if you have not done in a proper way, then there it creates a lot of problem. So intensive readers, when you these are the activities, what intensive readers do is they take up the whole idea of what you have written, and then according to the whole situation, they will know that how your further reactions or your further writing would be. That is the intensive reading. Now comes extensive reading. Extensive readings. It is carried out to achieve a general understanding of text. Extensive reading is occurring when students read large amount of high interest material, usually out of class, concentrating on meaning, reading of gist and skipping unknown words. मतलब आपको किसी का जिस्ट चाहिए, आपको सिर्फ ऊपर ऊपर से पढ़ाना है, आपको सिर्फ ऊपर ऊपर से उसका आपको सिर्फ ऊपर ऊपर से उसका मीनिंग चाहिए. You don't have to go and present it. You just don't have to go and give, or you don't have to reciprocate it, or you don't have to decode and make the other person understand. It is what you are going to understand. It is what for your information, कि मुझे information चाहिए, मुझे इसमें से पूरा मेरा जो अकाउंटेंसी का पूरा रिपोर्ट है, उसमें मुझे ये कंपनी का ऊपर से आई वांट द पोर्टफोलियो, हाउ इट इज वर्किंग, हाउ इट इज गोइंग, वेदर इट इज गोइंग इन अ लॉस और वेदर इट इज गोइंग इन अ प्रॉफिट. आपको पता है, पूरा ऊपर ऊपर से रीड करके आपको समझ में आ जाता है. They write the whole report in the language you will be able to understand. You flip the pages, you take the message from that, and you understand whether this company is going in a loss or a profit. That is the extensive reading. So you don't need to read on you just have to take the gist, you just have to take the meaning, you just take a while to understand what is going on in the whole company. That is what the extensive reading is. Okay, now here comes the aim of extensive reading is to build the reader's confidence and enjoyment. Here again, enjoyment is they are talking about the newspaper, the articles and all. I am talking here about your company's report, your portfolio. If I give my resume to someone, automatically the person will read upar se, and they'll know that exactly what this person is, or what the exactly person is going to deliver in the whole lecture. So the confidence, you just need some backup. आपके पास knowledge है पूरा. आप the best example है, आप कंपनी का रिपोर्ट रीड कर रहे होते हो, ठीक है, तो आपके पास पूरा knowledge है. You are a CA person, you are a proper chartered accountant, you know all the in and outs of the profit and loss. So you will not even take a while to know. You have gone to that brilliancy level, or that particular mindset level, that you will not even require half an hour to know exactly what the company is into. That is called extensive reading. Extensive reading characteristics. The main characteristics of extensive readings are: the purpose of readings are usually related to pleasure, information, and general understanding. As I told you that you read an article for your leisure, you read a newspaper, you read lot of small articles which comes to make you understand what is going in the world, or what is going around you, just for the leisure. And as I'm talking about if you go on a professional side, I always talk about the reports which the company has prepared, and you want to know whether that company is making a profit or a loss. That is very important. So in general understanding and in the main understanding, you have to understand where you are going to, whether you're going to, in this extensive reading, you are not going to decode it. Of course, you're going to decode it till yourself, but you're not going to further communicate to the other person until and unless you want to, or it is needed, or as I told you, you're sitting in a group and you are participating in such some topic and you have some knowledge which you want to share. So that is very important, that the purpose of reading here is nothing but your leisure and for your general information. Hope I'm clear to you on this reading skills. Reading for its own reward. Here, as I gave you, for example, reading an article, reading an individual and in silent. You are reading for yourself. You're not reading for the others. So it is very important that what you are going to gain is you are not going to communicate. It is not necessary that you are going to give it to others. It is not necessary you're going to communicate to others. You can keep it up to yourself, and when needed, you're going to trigger it, or if you are going to speak up, or when you are going to interact with the other people in the whole group. Skimming. This was scanning. Now skimming. In skimming, the extensive में skimming and scanning both आएगा. Skimming, it is used to quickly gather the most important information. It is not essential to understand the each word when you are skimming. मतलब आपको कुछ information चाहिए, फटाफट ले ली और आपने छोड़ दिया. उसमें आपसे वो information आपके पास long time भी रह सकती है, short time भी रह सकती है. Depends on how you take up, how your mind, how your grasping power is. Again, here the grasping power. यहाँ पे हमने जो एक टॉपिक मिस किया है, that's a grasping power. Again, it all depends on your brain's grasping power, how you are going to take up, how you are going to go ahead, how you are going to decode it. So it's mere just skimming, as it is used to quickly rather than most important information, gather it. It is not essential to understand the each word when you are skimming it. Run your eyes over the text, noting important information, use skimming to quickly get up speed on a current business situation. Of course, as I told you, you want to know whether this company is going into a profit or whether this company is going into a loss. There are certain person, or there's a certain chartered accountants who will just flip up the pages and they will know कि ये company loss में जा रही है कि profit में जा रही है. Again, it is their grasping power. There are certain person who go पूरा read करके पूरा they'll do the intensive reading, वो कि भाई कहाँ problem आ रही है company. फिर आप there are certain people who will go in intensive reading, and then only they will know that whether this is company is going into profit or loss. But I'll tell you, skimming में you are just flipping the pages, but again we'll further see how to skim. पहले देख लेते हैं, then I'll give you the more examples of scanning. Scanning में skimming से हम ज्यादा जाते हैं. Again, that is an intensive reading. पर कैसे होता है, what is the difference between the intensive and extensive, that time you'll be able to understand. Read the introduction, how to skim. Notice any charts, pictures or graph. See, skimming में क्या होता है, quickly you are going, fast you are going. तो पैराग्राफ देखने के ज्यादा अगर आपको विजुअल पिक्चर्स दिए होते तो you will fast, you'll be able to know that how fast they are going. Hello, am I audible? Because I'm getting a poor internet connection here.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Because it's after every half an hour, I guess they give me a signal that you have a poor connection. That is why I have to ask you.
Yes, it's rain, so I understand. But go ahead, we can clearly hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much. So it is very, very important that when you are skimming, you have certain, you should know the technique, right? अगर मुझे पता चल रहा है ऊपर से कि हाँ ये कंपनी प्रॉफिट में जा रही है, ये कंपनी लॉस में जा रही है, तो ये यार मेरे में कुछ होगा तो ही मैं बता पाऊंगी कि ये मुझे सिर्फ स्किमिंग से ही पता क्यों चल रहा है कि ये कंपनी प्रॉफिट में लॉस, क्योंकि आई एम अ गुड रीडर. मैंने बहुत सारे रिसर्च किए हैं, मैंने बहुत सारा पढ़ा है, मैंने बहुत सारी कंपनीज देखी है, उसके बाद ही मैं बता पाऊंगी कि भाई ये कंपनी लॉस में जा रही है प्रॉफिट में, सिर्फ आधे घंटे में पढ़ के. So read the introduction or the first paragraph. Read the first sentence of every other paragraph. Notice any charts, pictures of graph. Read what type of text it is. Read what the purpose of author is and the general content of the text is. Example like reading a newspaper, magazine, business and travel and brochures. These are the general examples. मैंने आपको आपकी लैंग्वेज में एग्जांपल्स दिए, बट आप अगर ब्रोशर पढ़ रहे हो, आप अगर कोई ऊपर ऊपर से आर्टिकल पढ़ रहे हो, बिजनेस पढ़ रहे हो, मैंने जो 2 एग्जांपल दिए कि आपको अगर टिकट बुक करना है पर्टिकुलर डेट का एंड आपको अगर टिकट बुक करना है पूरे मंथ का, तो आप स्किमिंग करेंगे और उसमें आप इंटेंसिव रीडिंग करेंगे पूरा. उसमें इंटेंसिव रीडिंग में अगेन स्कैनिंग इज आल्सो इंक्लूडेड. सो पूरा आप उसमें स्कैनिंग करेंगे, पूरा आप उसके अंदर जाके देखेंगे कि भाई मुझे कौन से टिकट में सबसे ज्यादा फायदा हो रहा है, कौन से टिकट में सबसे ज्यादा आई विल get the maximum amount of profit or I have to pay the minimum amount of money. स्लाइड आगे नहीं जा रही. Now we go to see scanning. Scanning is the reading technique to be used when you want to find specific information quickly. You want something which has to be very quick. हमें फटाफट से scan करना पड़ेगा. How to scan? State the specific information you are looking for. Use the heading and any other aids which will help you to identify which section might contain the information you are looking for. देखो आप अच्छे अगर रीडर होंगे तो फटाफट से आपको इंफॉर्मेशन आपको क्या चाहिए. आपका अगर 500 पेजेस का भी बुक रहेगा ना, you will be able to get the information which you want to decode, which you want to tell. That is what the scanning is. Selectively read and skip through the sections of the passages. May you don't need to read each and everything, but your mind, your brain setup ऐसा होता है कि आपको जो information चाहिए ना, वही you will pick up that particular information. Examples of scanning are a Google search list on internet. It is very easy. You will get a specific thing. आपको जो specific चाहिए वही आप लेंगे उसमें से. मतलब आप कोई author का लेंगे उसमें से वो पूरी book नहीं देगा आपको. आप you will get, अगर मैं कुछ say for example reading skill का topic डालूंगी तो वो reading skill के topic में मुझे बहुत सारे authors मिलेंगे. वो उसमें फिर management skills सारे skills होंगे, but I'll just get the reading skills out of that because I'm searching for, मेरा जो search engine में I'll put the topic is reading skill. और ट्रैवल प्लान, स्केड्यूल टाइम, जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया कि स्केड्यूल टाइम के मुझे जाना है, ट्रैवल करना है या मुझे पूरे मंथ में ट्रैवल करना है, तो हाउ आई स्कैन, हाउ आई लुक थ्रू द इंटरनेट. अ कॉन्फ्रेंस गाइड, अगेन इफ आई वांट टू डू अ कॉन्फ्रेंस, हाउ आई बी एबल टू डू द होल थिंग, और हाउ आई बी एबल टू टेल द decode the whole conference. और मुझे कुछ टॉपिक पे बोलना है, अगर कॉन्फ्रेंस में जाके भी मुझे कुछ टॉपिक पे बोलना है, तो I'll be able to guide the person. सी कॉन्फ्रेंस में बेसिकली जाते कि आप अपनी नॉलेज शेयर करो, आप अपने टॉपिक की. स्पेशली मैंने देखा हुआ है कि डॉक्टर्स की बहुत ज्यादा कॉन्फ्रेंस होती है, और डॉक्टर्स लोग जो कॉन्फ्रेंस करते हैं उसमें उनकी जो नॉलेज है, उनके जो प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज है, उनके पास जो पेशेंट्स आए वो सारी नॉलेज वो शेयर करते हैं. सो बट एट टाइम्स दे आल्सो हैव टू स्कैन, क्योंकि उसमें भी डिटेल्स होती है, उसमें भी दे हैव देयर ओन कंस्ट्रेंट्स, दे हैव देयर ओन रीडिंग्स व्हिच दे हैव टू शेयर टू द होल ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल सिटिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ देम. Other techniques are non-verbal signals, structure of the text, structure of the paragraphs, author's viewpoint, determining the meanings of words, and summarization. Summarization is very, very important because summarization में आपको पूरा क्या आपने पढ़ा है वो पूरा summary में आ जाएगा. Rather, I can say a conclusion. इवन आप समराइजेशन के synonym में डाल सकते हो conclusion, how the whole thing you are concluding it, how you are making the other person understand, how you are making the other people understand, how they will grasp from you and how they are going to decode it and again they are going to present it is how. पर वो आपका पूरा जो है वो रीडिंग पे काम करता है, आपने क्या रीड किया है, यू नो. इवन इफ यू डोंट ग्रेजुएशन या हमारी पढ़ाई में क्या होता है, वी एक्चुअली स्टडी फॉर द सर्टिफिकेट, बट अगर आप देखने जाए कि किसी को जैसे कि मैंने संजय जी का आपको नाम दिया, संजय रावल जी का नाम दिया आपको, उसमें अगर उन्होंने, he is just mere a graduate but he has lot of knowledge because he has read lot of books. Reading lot of books, reading lot of articles, getting knowledge is more important rather than getting a degree or a worksheet or a degree or a graduation sheet in your hands. But even practical knowledge is as important as reading. Practical knowledge as well as reading knowledge, both of them goes hand into hand, and you see you'll be a genius. Plus there are as we saw, a lot of techniques of reading are there, and जैसे कि reading speed आनी चाहिए, तो it is a matter of time, it is a matter of habituate, you have to get habituate or to get the speed of reading. आपको कौन सा word read करना है, कहाँ से क्या read करना है, एक आपको आदत लगानी होगी, वो आदत से automatically आप खुद में change देखेंगे कि आप कैसे read पहले करते थे और कैसे read अभी करते थे, अभी कर रहे हो. A conclusion is effective reading is the most important aspect as it improves the reading skills, help us to gain knowledge and also improves our imagination within ourselves. See, we have to be very particular that हम कहाँ हैं, हमारे में क्या change है, how we are going to show up ourselves to the world. With reading, with the knowledge, only you will be able to stand up in front of people. So knowledge and reading is very, very important. And thank you so much for hearing me patiently, and hope that you are very clear on the reading skills, and you can ask me any question if you have any doubt or anything. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ziana.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your session was really informative. I mean, though we've been reading since childhood, but these are not the techniques I would have really heard about it if it was not today. Thank you. It was very, very informative. And today we actually understood the intricacies of reading. You know, reading is not just taking a newspaper. There are so many different techniques when you actually want to read and how do you want to read it. It was a really amazing session, ma'am. And I would be glad to actually have you with us, you know, when probably the offline sessions start. So I'll be in touch with you. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you
Thank you
from
so
behalf
much.
of ICI Ahmedabad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.